want to say that your podcast is a comedy? What about your script was funny? What part of you talking about grape is funny? What part about the fact of that whole episode that your kids are going to see that one day and say, that's my mom talking like that? I'm absolutely still disgusted. Your apology meant nothing.
We need to talk about Avery Wood's latest Cheers podcast episode because she's getting a lot of backlash and facing serious criticism. She's losing thousands of followers, people aren't accepting her apology video, and there's a ton of discussion about this. So without further ado, let's get right on into it. So in this episode, Avery sits down with Harry, and right from the start, she starts telling him she's a milfy mommy who loves to talk about sex and enjoys being asked questions about it. Mind you, this woman is married and she has kids, okay? Keep that in mind, because it gets 10 times worse. Avery has been married to her husband, David, for 10 years, and they have 2 kids together. So she says she's been married long enough that her husband doesn't mind how she talks on the podcast. Now, me personally, even if my husband gave me the green light to talk about these type of things, I can wholeheartedly say I just wouldn't be comfortable talking about these type of things to another man right in their face. I'm going to show you guys the clips in a bit so you can understand why people thought this whole entire thing was a hard watch all throughout. Also, out of respect for my husband and myself, I just wouldn't talk about the things that she was talking about in this podcast. Now, while Avery does occasionally talk about in her episodes, her podcast covers a wide range of topics, from being a nurse, a mom, mental health. There's definitely other topics that she talks about, so this wasn't her main shtick. But people just thought bringing Harry Jowsey, who doesn't have the best reputation, into a conversation about just was so strange, especially as a married woman.
Well, you have the penis the size of Drake, is what I've been told.
Wow, thanks.
What's your type? What's your 10 out of 10? I do need a description. I'm hoping it's basically me.
It is.
What's
I'm gonna be in trouble. Sorry, husband.
No,
but,
he's fine.
He's the best.
Baby, it's okay. Love you.
He's...
I'll tell you some weird shit I like.
Yeah, what are you guys up to over there?
Husband loves anal.
What?
Like,
Ew.
on me.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Ew.
so
Get
true.
your pussy out. Have fun.
I
Life's
love
great.
that.
Yeah.
I love having my pussy out.
Jesus Christ.
Don't worry, guys. I had a C-section, so everything's pristine down there.
Wow.
I have so much booty back there that my apple's covered in a tanning bed.
You gotta stop talking like this. I'm gonna have to fight your husband.
Avery then asks who his celebrity crush is, and he says Sabrina Carpenter, and Avery responds saying thinking about them together makes her HORNY. She then asks Harry about his kinks, but Harry seems hesitant, trying to dodge the question, and Avery presses on him saying, well, I love to get it up the butt. Here's where things just go completely off the rails. When talking about her haters, Avery says her biggest critics are often moms with Bible verses in their bios, sharing some of the mean comments they leave, and Harry jokingly says Jesus is gonna spank them in the butt. And then Avery laughs and says this.
All my haters have like blessed mama 4 in their bio, and they're like, you're a fat ugly mom, you're a fucking whore, your kids are like just fucking bullshit. And I'm like,
wow. But
but then in your bio it's like Psalms 369,
yeah.
Blessed mommy of 4.
Yeah, like Jesus is gonna spank you, lady, if you keep it up.
Yeah, literally, he's gonna bend you over and fuck your ass. Jesus is gonna go poo pirate on your ass if you keep up this bullshit.
And I hope he does. Jesus.
They deserve it with no lube.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anyway.
Am I like matching your energy?
No,
like I'm the
you're perfect.
female version of you.
Are you?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say yeah, but now I'm like questioning.
No.
Later on in a Q&A, Avery asks Harry if he'd hook up with her even though she's married, which is just so uncalled for, awkward, and like, why would you ask that as a married woman with children? I mean, Avery, sweetie, is everything okay at home? Is your relationship with your spouse okay? Because it's not seeming like it with the questions you're asking. Are you not getting enough love from your husband? Like, what is it? Harry ends up answering yes, that he would hook up with her, and then Avery just reacts in this way, just being so excited.
All right, I just have one more question for you because I feel like I've kept you here too long. I'm married, but hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, I would do it.
Don't tell Unwell's. Yeah, okay.
Ask the question.
I'm married, but hypothetically speaking, would you hook up with me?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Woo! We got that on film. Thanks for being here.
That's crazy.
Honestly, the whole episode was a tough watch. I can't even count on my fingers how many times I cringed. But of course, all of this warranted immense backlash on social media as soon as clips started circulating. A few things that I find interesting is you won't be able to find the actual clip from the podcast anymore because Avery and her team have taken out that part of the podcast specifically that has been controversial.
To me, there is a difference between being positive in a way of talking about sex and being mature, and there is a totally other end of that where you're vulgar and vile and it's kind of gross. And unfortunately, that's where it landed for a lot of people. This was not something that people could listen to and get behind because it was a lot of intimate details that I guess my thing is like, why would you want that information out there? You know, there are certain things that are just meant to be private. If that's what the podcast is, or that's where it's heading, by all means, you can do whatever you want to do. It was just more of the demeanor, and a lot of people are disagreeing with her because she is married.
Now, Avery has since posted an apology video. It's got 1 million views in just a couple of hours, and let me tell you guys, most people just aren't convinced. Being like, you know, the apology doesn't quite feel sincere when it's followed by a but. That's exactly the vibe this apology gave off.
Alright, I just woke up. I didn't want any more time to pass before I sat down and talked about this. I don't usually do videos like this or address whatever hate is going on in my direction, but this is one of those things where I never ever want to offend people and their beliefs, and so I'm just gonna talk to you. I just turned my camera on. First of all, I just want to say, my podcast is a comedy podcast, and there are jokes that I should not make that cross lines, and I made a joke that crossed a line, and I'm so sorry. I have been very, very open about religion in general. You know, David's father is a pastor, and we've talked very openly on my podcast multiple times about our beliefs and why we believe those things, but I never ever want to bash religion, bash someone's beliefs. We have so many people in our lives that are religious people and faithful people, and I 100% support them and love them no matter what. There are certain jokes that I should not make, and I regret that wholeheartedly. I first of all, media training. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just like looking out the window because I just feel awful. I also just want to say, the episode that I did with Harry was scripted. These were questions that were, you know, written by producers, and I probably should have spoken up and maybe dimmed it down a bit, and I chose not to. This is stuff that I have spoken very, very openly about on my social media for years. If you followed me for any sort of time on Instagram, I've done a segment called Saucy Saturday for probably close to 5 years now, where I've talked about the same subjects, and it's never been new. I think, you know, obviously when you're speaking about those subjects with a straight single man, it might not look the best. In my head, I don't think about it because when the camera turns on, it's entertainment, right? Like, we are both podcast hosts strictly for entertainment. There's nothing else going on.
And that this was all scripted, but people are just like, read the room, Avery. Like, how is making fun of people's religions and mom shaming and all these different things considered joking at all? All over TikTok now, Avery's disgusting and disrespectful comments throughout this entire podcast only continues to spark strong disapproval all over the app. She's been losing thousands of followers amid this controversy.
Hot take, but let's talk about Avery Woods since she wants to bash Jesus all over the internet to millions of her followers. It's not only embarrassing for her, it's embarrassing for her husband and her kids. The fact that you can go on your own podcast with Harry Jowsey and talk about how you don't believe in Jesus, how you don't want to, whatever, that's fine. I'm not bashing you for not believing in Jesus. I'll pray for you. I pray that she will open her heart to him and realize how much love he has to give. But it's the fact of how you were talking about it, not to mention the last question that would be embarrassing for your husband. If this was me, if I was her husband.
Her latest Instagram photos are getting flooded with even more backlash over her remarks. You can take a look, pause, and read at some of them here. But yeah, guys, this has been what's been going on with Avery Woods within the last 24 hours. It's not looking good for her, and she's continuing to get backlash all over her socials. Let me know what you think about the stuff that she said in her podcast. Also, let me know what you thought of her apology and what she had to say there. I'd love to know your thoughts. I love you guys so much, and as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.